Thrilling Thursday. This is another opportunity for you to get in a space and a place to create a life that is worth living. How can you live your best life if you're not creating a space and a place for you to dwell, for you to maintain, for you to purposely live? Come on, let's live in purpose. Not just on it, but live in purpose. Today, we are excited just to be able to come before you. We want to thank HAPS TV and this opportunity to come on this platform. If you would download the HAPS TV app, it is a free app, and you as well as myself can come on here and begin to stream to other social medias. You only have to do it one time and it goes all across your social media base. Yes, HAPS TV. Come in, download it, support this broadcast as we move forward into doing greater things in today's Michelleology and Evolution. Well, are you ready to deep breathe? Are you ready to clear your mind? Are you ready to go forward? Are you ready to extend, lengthen, and strengthen the very thing that's in your life that will cause you to go to another place and another space in God, in the universe, in this spirit world? You are a God being. So straighten that back, that spine. Begin to breathe deeply from the bottom of your spine, your root chakra, all the way to your crown. We taking it to the kingdom. Yes, we are kingdom material. We are authorized kingdom people. Come on, so let's breathe. Inhale, hold it, and then release it out. And I want you to push it out, because what you're doing is you're pushing out toxic thinking, you're pushing out toxic thoughts, you're pushing out all toxins that's causing you not to be, do, and to have. Let's go. Breathe in. Hold it. Release it. Feel the air go all the way down to your feet. Come on, let's try it again. Bring it up from your base chakra, your root chakra, and all the way to your crown. Let's go. We are relaxing all of that tension that's in your shoulders and your back. You should feel the tension release. Let's try it one more time. We are eliminating all those thoughts that are toxic. We're coming in focus, we're being mindful, and we're ready to go forth in the meditation. Remember that meditation is medication for your soul. It allows you to be the greatest version of yourself. And as you begin to do that, you begin to motivate, you begin to move forward, you begin to define yourself and refine yourself, because you are a jewel and you're in the greatest space and place to be who you will to be. Okay, today we're going to take like a subject that nobody ever thinks of. How can you change an illusion? First of all, you have to define what an illusion is. An illusion is something that looks real, but it's not. And so the reason I chose this subject is to meditate on today, to actually base ourselves on, is because I've decided that millions and millions of people are trying to change their flesh. And it's an illusion, because it's not real and it's not eternal. It is temporary. And so what we must understand is that we must go in and make the change before anything can manifest on the outside. And so the illusion is, if you change the outside, that everything becomes better. But that's not true. The truth of the matter is, everything you do that you manifest starts from the inside out. So the illusion is that you're changing this when you're actually changing what's inside. Because this is the motivating factor. This is the energy. This is the power. This is the chi. This is the prana. This is the anointing. This is the Holy Spirit that is inside of you that begins to change. We're trying to get education on the outside, but education starts on the inside. Everything about us is an inside job. So anytime that you're trying to change an illusion on the outside, it's temporary. Even if you get plastic surgery, it's temporary. You have to keep getting plastic surgery and keep getting it and keep getting it because it's only temporary. So what we have to do is we have to go in and allow God to restore the years that all of the stress and drama and trauma has taken from us, all the wrinkles that we receive from all the outside stuff. We have to go in. I'm telling you, it is a anti-aging system within your brain and within your energy that when you go inside, we don't have to get older. They just told us we did. How did the people in the Old Testament live to be 600 and 700 years old if aging happens? Aging is a mental thing. Yes, there are some changes that happen in your body, but aging, how quick you age is based on your inner being. You're strengthening the power that's within you. God restores that. And as you know that, but if you keep saying, oh, I'm just getting older and older, yes, your power of your mouth is igniting that. You are getting older and older. I like to say we're getting wiser and wiser because that is what should be happening. We should be more wiser at this age than we were at a previous age. There is something that should have changed on the inside of you that caused you to make a transformation. We are three, well, I won't say three, it's probably more than that. We are a multi-dimensional being. And so we have to be educated and knowledgeable about all of those dimensions. Most of us are not educated or knowledgeable about ourselves. When I say being the greatest version of you, that's knowing every part of you. That's having knowledge of every part of you. Since you are multidimensional, that means there's a flesh, there's a soul, and there's a spirit. And once you acknowledge each one of them, once you know each one of them, you take the illusion of not knowing what's going on with you. How can someone know more about you than you know when you're with yourself 24/7, 365 or 366 in a leap year? The illusion is that we're trying to change something that's never going to change. The change comes from the inside out. So even when you decide, I need to lose some weight, you have to make a mental movement of weight being released, not lost, because you can always find it again if it's lost. But when you release it, you release the whole. There's a place in your brain you need to study to show yourself approval that causes you to lose weight. When you begin to massage that area, when you begin to speak to that area, not saying you should not make some food changes or exercise changes. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the first thing that has to happen is a movement on the inside. The illusion is you have to make a movement on the outside first. But that's why some of us start these diets and we start saying we're going to lose weight and nothing ever happens, because we have not made a mental movement in our imagination to see ourselves releasing that weight, to see ourselves eating healthier, to see ourselves exercising. If you can't see that from the inside out, it's illusional. And you can't change the illusion because it's not real anyway. This is good in the neighborhood. Listen, this goes for every type of change that you will to encounter in your life. A lot of people that were alcoholics, or they claim to be alcoholics, or they call themselves alcoholics, did not go to a program to stop drinking. They made a mental change on the inside. They made a spiritual change on the inside. I used to hear people pray this prayer, Lord, take the taste of liquor out of their mouth. Now, come on now. How does God go in there and just say, okay, this taste right here is for liquor? No, it is a mental change. You are empowered to make changes that you will to make. That's why you have to take full authority again over your life. Because if change is going to come, it's going to come because you've seen it in your imagination. You've made a mental switch. You've allowed yourself to see yourself in the change. You call those things that are not as if they already were. If you're going to keep seeing yourself overweight, then that's what you're going to be. So you have to define and find within your mind and set the imagination, the intention, focus on it, pay attention. And as you begin to do that, you begin to change things internally before they change externally. And that's why you're not able to change an illusion. Illusion doesn't change. It remains totally an illusion. And so what we've been conditioned to see are multiple illusions that we either do like or we don't like, but we aren't changing them because we have not went on the inside in order to motivate a change on the outside. So today in the meditation, what you must do in your meditation time is you must see yourself as that wheel with those things, doing this situation, whatever it is that you're trying, that not, I don't like trying, I have to catch myself, that you're willing to make a change on. It includes everything, because everything about you is internally. Everything with substance, everything with any kind of power, everything is inside of you. So we have to go in so we'll never be without. And if we don't decide to make those type changes for our lives, we'll continue to battle the illusion. And you'll get frustrated, you'll get stressed out, you have anxiety, you start pouring in all of these things because you're trying to change something that won't change without the power of your inner being and your energy on the inside. Come on, y'all. It's as simple as 1, 2, 3. Go in and change your thinking. Change your thinking, you change your meaning of who you are, who you will to become, and who you were purposed to be. Change is a mindset. Remember, we talk about 90% mindset, 10% skill. So when we get our mindset together from the inside out, we begin to change the things about us, our attitude. If your attitude is kind of challenging, what you can do is go on the inside and begin to examine yourself. Usually when we have an attitude problem, it's because we don't love something about ourselves. And so we take that which we don't love about ourselves and we begin to we begin to direct it on the outside to somebody else. And so it comes out in our attitude, and it comes out, the anger comes out in our attitude, the frustration comes out in our attitude. So it's about loving yourself. Remember, I told you, you must spend at least 2 hours and 40 minutes on yourself, investing in yourself. You're tithing to yourself. As you tithe that time, that treasure into yourself, you begin to blossom to be the greatest version of yourself, and you begin to live on a different dimension than that illusional dimension, that third dimension. You move to fourth dimension and then the fifth dimension. That's why you're multi-dimensional. You can change as your mind changes, your life changes. Don't you understand? You cannot buy a change. You can think you're buying a change, but you can't buy a change, because change is incorporated with energy. It's incorporated with the things that we must know within ourselves and have knowledge of. So listen, whatever it is that you are willing to change, you must first go on the inside, begin to examine, first of all, if you love yourself. That is the most important thing. Once you love yourself, then you can love God. And once you love God and yourself, then you can love others. And so that energy is going to come on your outside in your aura. It is going to come out all around you. You don't even have to say anything. You can just walk in the room, change the atmosphere, because your energy is on the highest version that it can be, the highest frequency. Don't you know the highest frequency in this universe is love? We got here because of love. For God so loved. He didn't just love, he so loved the world that he gave. And so we will give a better attitude once we love ourselves, once we are conscious of who we are. We are a force to be reckoned with on anybody's stage. And when I say stage, on any platform, any conversation, any relationship, anything that concerns your inner being. Because why? That is where God lives, in your heart. And so, create in me, God, a clean heart. Yes, we can state that, but He's not going to do it without you. So you have to participate in the change, y'all. There is nothing that's going to fall out the sky and make you release some weight. Nothing. You have to participate in the change. You cannot participate in the change if you're not invested in it. And once you invest going in, you get interest. And so it is an ongoing thing that we must adapt in our place of being, in our place of knowing, in our place of being, doing, and having in our lives. The change comes on the inside. And as you begin to see yourself changing on the inside, it can't help but come out as an energy on the outside. Remember, we're inner beings. We are inner beings. We are not outside beings. We are inner being. Inner being. And once you recognize that, realize that, become conscious of that, outline that in your life, that you are an inner being and everything comes from the inside out, then you'll be within, so you'll never be without. We talked about yesterday, as above, so below as above. When you correspond your heart and your head together, then you line up with the energy that you're reflecting from the inside. Good God Almighty. Yes. And so today, I want you to challenge. I will for you to challenge yourself. As you begin to challenge yourself to start on the inside, remember that anger doesn't start on the outside. It's not because somebody did something to you or said something to you. It's something that triggered in you that caused you to be angry. A person cannot make you angry. They cannot upset you. You make a decision to be that way because there's something on the inside that's been triggered that needs to be adjusted. What? And I know people can do some stuff that he made me so mad. Nobody can make you anything. You have to decide to get in that frequency. So if it's a low frequency and it's a negative frequency, if you get angry, it said get angry but sin not. So you sin when you miss the mark of not responding. This is of not reacting but responding to whatever it is somebody said or did to you. Do we have a right to be upset about some things? Of course. But let's respond. Responding means you take time to think. You think first before you speak. You don't speak first and then think. You have to allow yourself to be the greatest version of you. You are a representation of God. And so did God get angry? Of course. In our mind, the way we see it, did he really get angry? Does he really have emotions like we have physical emotions? That's a whole nother video. And so we have to stop trying to make God flesh, because it's a spirit. He's a spirit. And so when we stop trying to transform God into flesh, he already did that through us. And now he's operating in the spirit realm. And so as we begin to move forward in this thrilling Thursday, in this thirsty Thursday, in this just terrific Thursday, we are going to be mindful. We're going to focus and we're going to pay attention to our insides, because that's eternal and internal. And we're going to less pay attention to external as far as change, because that's illusional. This will pass away. It will pass away. So that means it's not here to stay. Everything that you see with the physical eye is going to pass away. It's illusional. So we've been learned to think in an illusional way. And so now we're so conditioned and trained to that way that we fail to operate in our spiritual being. I keep telling you, govern your mental has gotten you to the point to make you forget that you forgot who you were. So God says, I want you to repent. I want you to return back to your original state of being. I want you to return back to the place where we had that meeting before you crawled into your mother's womb. And see, I know the plans that I have for you. Jeremiah 29 begins to say, I know the plans, and they're plans of good, they're plans of success. And so if those plans have already been established before we got in the womb, what happened to those plans? Why do you feel like you're a failure? Why do you feel like you can't make it through? Because you've been learned that way. You've been conditioned that way. And so we have to go in and make that change. Make that change. So we have to go in and begin to examine. We talked a couple of weeks ago about examining yourself, just as the doctor examines you. You got to ask you those same questions the doctor asks you. Well, what are your symptoms? Why are you here today? Where's the pain? From 0 to 10, how deep is your pain? How intense is your pain? So you have to examine yourself. Say from 0 to 10, how intense is this pain that I'm experiencing that's causing me to be in this illusional state? Oh, that's good. Listen, begin to ask yourself questions. And when you begin to ask yourself questions, the light comes on. Jesus is the light of the world. The light comes on. And when the light comes on, darkness has to leave. When the resolution comes, the problem has to leave. But all this is an internal situation. And these are changes that you can make. And so your prayers won't be anymore, Lord, change this, and Lord, make this. And you'll begin to say, Lord, empower me to make the changes within myself that need to be done. See, has anybody ever told you that? Of course not. I told you today. And so these are principles that we must continue to use to empower ourselves, to keep ourselves in an authoritative mode. We have dominion over this land. This is the land that we have dominion over. And we have to take that and begin to move forward in that. Man, this meditation today will take you to heights unknown. All of those things that you're preparing yourself to change, or you were praying for change, and then it never changed because that prayer went amiss. Because God is not going to give you what you already have. He is giving you the desires of your heart. He's already put them in your heart. And so we have to operate with the tools that He's given us in order that we can be the greatest version of ourselves, the highest version of ourselves, operate in the greatest frequency for ourselves. And as we begin to do the change from the inside out, we eliminate the illusion. That's how you change the illusion. Ooh, this is good for me. I don't know what you're getting out of it, but this is good for me. There are multiple things in my life that I had to change from the inside out. I could pray for more, what they call money, which is the currency, which is the energy. I don't call it that no more. So I call it what it is. So that's why it's coming now. What? Call it what it is. And it must come. It must respond to you because you have the power. And so when I begin to go inside and I begin to remember, we're not here to learn, we're here to remember. Because God already told us, He's already equipped us. They just tried to make us forget that we forgot who we were. So now we got to become conscious and be enlightened and wake up and stop being a dead man or woman walking with no sense of direction, with no sense of power, with no sense of anointing, with no sense of knowing. We have got to come to ourselves. We've got to come back to ourselves. That is all repenting means. Come back to your true original self. And as you begin to do that, you begin to live and no longer exist. We're in this state of being. We're God beings. It is time for us to wake up and smell the change. Yes, sir. We are moving in a place of change because we're going from the inside to the outside. Well, this is Michelle, and I'm your motivating you in this spiritual evolutional place to be the greatest version of yourself. Listen, you need to share this because this is information. This is motivation. This is affirmation. This is quality information that is going to inform a nation within you. Remember, we're returning back to our nationality, to our birthrights, to our inheritance. There is so much going on the outside, in the illusion. You must be in your inner eye so that you can see the truth. Because these eyes are always going to be illusional. It looks like that. But if you look from the inside out, that's not what it is. And so I'm challenging you, no matter what they're saying on the news, remember the television is telling you a vision that they want you to see. As you begin to grow, as you begin to remember, as you begin to get a mindset and an opportune time to enhance who you be. Bad English, but you'll remember it, who you be. And as you be that, you are a God being, not just a human being. Multidimensional now. Flesh, soul, spirit. And you have more than 5 senses. Those 5 senses that they talk about is on the outside. But you have, somebody said, over 360 senses. But most of them are inside. So if you're only operating in 5 senses, you're in a limited 3rd dimensional world. We've got to go in and operate on every one of those senses that are within us so that we're directed and we come out of this era of trial and error. We're trying something and making an error when we can go the first time from the inner being and be on the right track. Yes, sir. Now, commercial time. Go to Amazon.com and pick up my first writings on me, Mental Equation. It is affirmation, motivation, education, information, affirmations, revelation, all of them nations. It's only $15 if you go to Amazon.com. Pick you up a copy. It is not a book. It is writings, conversations I've had with God, revelations God has given me after I was diagnosed with COVID-19 on Thanksgiving in 2020. Thanksgiving night, in the ambulance, going to the hospital. Could not breathe. Breathing was down to 40%. I was getting up out of here, y'all. I felt myself coming out. I felt it. I felt me just evaporating on this side. And so, listen, as you begin to invest in that, you would invest in your own being. This is not about what I wrote. This is about the revelation that God is going to give you. And so as you begin to do that, He is going to bless you. We are going to the next dimension, and we're not upset about the trip. We're not hating the trip. You know, a lot of y'all talk about going to heaven, but you're not enjoying the trip. Heaven is a mind state. So until you get that mindset of heaven, there's no way you can geographically get there because you won't know how to get there. As above, so below as above. And when you get that, when you're driving down the street and you get that, then you're going to have a light come on like I had a week ago. When the light came on that I thought I was saved, and I couldn't even define salvation in a way that I'm operating in today's world, because you do have to update your salvation. The salvation that you came in on needs to be updated because there's something in the atmosphere that it has changed. So you have to change in your perspective as to how you see your salvation. So when that light came on, and it's already said Jesus is the light of the world. He was more than a man. And we're so busy trying to make him a man that we don't see the spiritual being that came here to shine a light on our dark places. What? I thought I was saved. Now I know I am, because I've updated my salvation and I've downloaded some information that has helped me to be. a greater version of myself. Well, remember, you've been created by the Creator to be creative, so start creating your creations and stop duplicating. May the love, joy, peace, power, and sound mindedness be your soul food today. In today's Michelleology Innovolution Meditation, I'm Michelle Num, your motivator and your spiritual innovolutionist. Now not try. Do this so that you are able to see a difference in your life. Be blessed on this thrilling Thursday.